title of her speech is Your Most Profitable Growth Plan. And Stefania's speech this evening is her first webinar ever. And so she's going to do a small section of that overall webinar. Help me welcome up Stefania.
My objective today is to help liberate your most profitable growth plan. Kathy, a client of mine, experienced a very precipitous revenue drop. You know, the economy hasn't been all that great. Surprise, the bank pulled her line. You know, even in the face of all those facts, Kathy knew in her heart her business really did something important. But she kept it all to herself. Kathy was afraid to share her passion of the future she really thought she could create, doing what she believed was important. Have you ever been like Kathy? Have you ever been fearful of sharing your passion? You want to know something? That's not much of a surprise. Have you ever had a colleague who has really ambitious business goals and they share with you their adventure about their career? They may or may not ever accomplish those big goals. Or have you ever had a business colleague who has very methodical ambitions of their 12-month business adventure, big profit opportunities? That business individual may or may not accomplish those goals either. But you know, in those environments, we don't second guess somebody because they make a big goal, even if they might not in fact accomplish them. The future is an unknown. Everybody knows that. The future is unpredictable. And so it is with your company. The future can't be analyzed. It can only be declared. The future is what you declare. So let your passion be your guide. To help Kathy overcome her fear of being able to share her passion of the future she really wanted, we created a corporate resume. Now, everybody knows what a resume is, right? You know, the kind of thing that you write up for a career. Typically, it's short and succinct, maybe 2 pages. Well, a corporate resume is similar to a corporate curriculum vitae in that it documents what you have done historically. But it doesn't stop there, leaving the future to the reader's interpretation. You see, a corporate resume actually articulates what that future is in a very special way. Projected out 10 years of the future, assuming you won the lottery and all the resources you needed to build your business are your own. When I told Kathy to think out 10 years, she said, that's a long way. I said, yes, that's the point. It's so far out in the future that you have to liberate your passion because there's nothing holding you back. You know what she did? She declared $50 million in revenue in 10 years with a 25% pre-tax profit margin. That's a pretty big number, huh? Well, it's a pretty big number, but you know what? It's based on Kathy's declaration to become the leader in her industry and the go-to source in her geography. That's doable. That's doable. When Kathy declared her future, she attracted $275,000. Wow. How does a lady who got turned down by the bank after her revenue precipitously dropped and get $275,000? Well, clearly not based on her past. You see, as business builders, you are the most advanced species on the planet. It's you that profits from change. You excel under uncertainty. You thrive where others can't even survive. You know, too often we just forget our unique ability to move the promise of the future into the present. future is attractive. That future is what you declare. So while we're on the topic, let's figure out exactly what is your most profitable growth plan. To do that, all we have to think about is what you have today to build on. Let's start out with your greatest strengths. Think about this with me and write it down as we're going through this process, if you would. Perhaps you would say that you have wonderful products and services. Write that down. Perhaps you would say you have an excellent reputation in your industry. Write that down. Perhaps you would say that you have wonderful management. Add that. Because, you see, you've won the lottery, so all the resources you need to build on, all of these strengths are yours for building. So you can pursue your passion of the future you want. And let's keep going. Let's capture all your best profit-making opportunities. Perhaps you would say that you would like to take your existing products and sell them to more people. It's sort of like expanding geographically. If that's the case, write it down. Or maybe you would like to actually create some new products and sell new products to your existing clients. If new product development is on your docket, write that down. Or maybe you'd like to invest in some more technology, do more with less. That's an opportunity, because you've got unlimited resources. Write down anything that comes to mind. Now, importantly, honestly expose any obstacles that are holding you back. You know, the kind of thing that you think about at night and it just keeps you up. Or think about all those issues that happen on a daily basis. They pop up every minute because you're in a fast-paced, changing global environment. And let's put those down as well, because now you have money to eradicate these obstacles. Perhaps you might say one of your great fears is making a mistake, the wrong decision. Write that down. Perhaps you would say you're not sure you've got the right management talent. Write that down. Perhaps you have a fear of losing control. Put down anything that's an obstacle holding you back. Now, let's summarize all this information that you've put together into two simple numbers. Your revenue in 2020, that's 10 years in the future, and the profitability, pre-tax, supported by that revenue number. Who will share with me your revenue number 10 years in the future? Who from my audience would like to give me your number? Go ahead, take a number. Building on your best strengths and your best opportunities.
I hope to be in 2020, you say?
10 years in the future.
Maybe $8,000.
$8,000.
80.
$80,000. Excellent. Let's round it up to $1 million just to make it easy. Benito, that's a good number, because I believe that you're sharing a number that's quite big relative to where you are today. Is that true?
Yeah.
And Benito is doing the right thing. He's declaring his future. But you know what? I told you we were going to come up with a plan for your best profitability. So Benito, let's move from your future of $1 million into the present. Where do you have to be, Benito, as a milestone in 5 years if you want to be at $1 million in 10 years, coming into the present? Where do you have to be at $5 million in revenue? Where do you need to be in 5 years to be on track to be $1 million in 10 years?
I have to be definitely where I'm not now.
Well, what would your revenue number be?
Oh, my revenue?
Yeah, what would your revenue be in 5 years if you wanted to be on track to $1 million?
500,000.
Very good. And I forgot to ask you what kind of profitability, pre-tax, you were going to have on that $1 million before. What percent would you like to have on your $1 million?
In 5 years?
In 10, but that's okay.
In 10 years?
In 10 years on $1 million, I should have asked you what kind of profitability you wanted, percentage-wise, on a pre-tax basis.
70%.
70%, that's a nice number. What we've done with Benito is we started with where he wants to end up in 10 years, but we didn't leave it there. We came into the present at 5 years, and he wants to be at $500,000 because that's a path. And Benito, you probably would imagine that I'm going to next say to you, think, don't have to answer for me, where will you be in 3 years? Revenue, to be on track, to be 500 in 5 years and $1 million in 10. Once you do this, ladies and gentlemen, you have a path, your best strategic growth plan. But it's a special plan that I want you to know. It's actually your optimum growth strategy. It's a unique strategy based on your passion, which means it's a process that no one can do better than you. That optimum growth strategy is the one that delivers the highest return, the lowest risk. That's magical. So now you know what your best plan is to achieve profitable growth. And in the second half of this webinar, I'll tell you how to finance it.